Week 6 lecture, Drafting Effective Supporting Paragraphs, Keeping Things Connected. Last week we asked you to think about strategies for organizing your topic support. This week we tackle that head-on. Your text asks you to determine how many supporting paragraphs to use, meaning the main points or reasons or arguments that support the position of your thesis. Each major idea requires a separate paragraph which has its own details that explain it. For example, if your thesis is that online education is more convenient for people, then you've probably found information from research that helps you discuss convenience in terms of time and location. Or if you're arguing that people are increasingly interested in alternative education, you may have found categories of information about homeschools, prep schools, and charter schools. How much do you have to say? Knowing that a paragraph is usually 5 to 7 sentences, how can you divide the information you have into portions of 5 to 7 sentences? If you do not have 2 to 3 separate paragraphs, then you either have too narrow a topic or have not sufficiently thought and researched your topic. If you feel you just have one big argument, is there a way to divide it into aspects? If something is having an influence on people, is the influence different for children than adults? Does the influence happen in stages, like beginning, middle, and advanced? What is different in the past than it is today, and can you predict how it might be in the future? If you seem to have many small arguments, is there a way to combine them? For example, if you are looking at many reasons that parents are dissatisfied with education today, do they fall into categories of elementary and high school, or social development versus academic rigor? Like the summary this week states, you don't want a bathtub in the kitchen, or a stove in the living room. If there are several arguments or pieces of evidence that do not fit into 5 to 7 sentence groups, you need to either come up with an idea to group them together or consider eliminating them. Keep similar ideas together. Coherence. What paragraph order do you want? This is why you started planning last week for the kind of coherence you want to create. General to specific, specific to general, emphatic, spatial, chronological. Other patterns of development are definition and examples, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, problem and solution. Sometimes you play the ideas over so much that they become jumbled together. This is why it is a good idea to set your draft aside for a few hours or even a couple days. Or you might want to read your draft to a friend to get a fresh perspective on how much sense it makes to someone hearing it for the first time. As you read the various essays in your text, notice how the sentences that introduce each paragraph provide a focus for the details you will read there. Within each paragraph, connections between ideas also clarify how the writer sees relationships. They may emphasize how things are similar or different, occur in certain order, provide examples, or ask you to look backward or forward in time. Carefully review the sections on transitions in this week's text reading and in the LAC Writing Guide in My Toolkit. Transitions are words and phrases you take for granted when you read that connect ideas within a paragraph and connect one paragraph with another. They are an important element for successful writing, so it is a good idea to start using them as a regular part of your writing process. Also consider reviewing the additional resources on using transitions in the writing guide. Finally, this week you put your paraphrasing and citation skills into practice. Review the LAC Style Guide, pages 6 to 9.